Welcome to Renovation Ranch. Welcome to Renovating an Abandoned Mansion, and welcome to the Abandoned Mansion. Did you see that drone montage at the start? God, the fall colors on all the leaves of the trees, and this house, so crazy. It's a little bright. The sun just came up and it is like right there, but God, look at this. So it kind of circles around here, so we get a bit of an echo effect. Echo! Sweet. Okay, so today we're doing something a little different. We are finally getting to do some more stuff on the outside of the house. Stucco is starting today. And actually, we've kind of marked where stone will be. Stone. And over there, we have walls marked stucco. Stucco there, all the way to there. Stone there. Stucco up there. Stucco there, stucco there, stucco there. It's gonna be so good. Stone is obviously very heavy, and so it's easier to put it on the low stuff. So we have stone all down here and stucco all up there. And it's gonna be kind of cool looking just with the contrast. Like we're gonna have stone, stucco, and then we have this siding here. So contrasting on the house, kind of break it up a little bit, make it look cool. Now I actually know a lot about stucco, like tons about stucco. I've worked with it a lot before in the past, actually on this house. This house had a bunch of stucco on it. The problem is the only part of the knowledge I know about stucco is how to tear it down, the demolition, if you will, of stucco, because there was a lot of it and I had to take it all off because all the boards were rotten underneath it. For those who are just tuning in to your first Abandoned Mansion episode, which, what is this, like 29 or something? If you're starting on number 29, you should just go back and start from the beginning. But if you don't want to, this house was abandoned and left with broken windows and unfinished for like 15, 20 years, and it was all rotten. And so we came in, tore up everything down to just the good studs, and then built it all back with beautiful, healthy materials. So I tore down a ton of stucco, and it's thick, and it's heavy. It's like concrete. I mean, it's like an inch thick, basically concrete all over your house. It's rock, and it's hard. And we had to bust it all up with crowbars, and it has like a metal netting on the back of it to hold it all structurally up there. Pain in the butt. So I have experience with that, tearing down, but I have no experience with actually putting it up. And I probably still won't even after this episode. I did a lot of the framing in this house because that was something I was comfortable with, sort of comfortable with, but I was also comfortable with learning it because framing is something that will be covered up. As long as it's structurally good, it doesn't have to necessarily look perfect. If there's a board not spaced right, it's not a huge deal as long as it's structurally strong. And so I was totally fine going in here and throwing boards in, throwing nails in, and doing that. It's fun, and I'm okay at it. It all gets covered up with sheetrock. The stuff that doesn't get covered up, like the stucco, I'm a little more worried about jumping in and doing that because it will be seen forever, and my wife will hate me if I'm like, yeah, I want to learn, and I just do one wall, it looks terrible, and she'll make me tear it all down. So I'm gonna let the professionals do the stucco, the guys who are actually good at it and can do it perfect. And I'm not gonna learn on my house how to do stucco and ruin it. So, Demolitia, we'll both kind of learn together, sort of, because I'm not doing this. I don't wanna ruin this house. After all the work we put into it, I don't wanna ruin it. Stone, stucco. So here's what I know about stucco. There's a lath process. I don't know if that's how you say it, but that's like the first step where you got to put a water resistant paper up. I don't know if you put water resistant paper over something that's already water resistant. I don't know. We're going to find out today. And then you put up this like metal mesh up, and that is what the cement actually adheres to. So the cement, you put it on wet, obviously, and you form it how you want it, and it hooks to that metal mesh, and that's kind of its structure. I think. We'll find out. But there's like 1 and 2 and 3 layer stuccos, and I don't really know what that means, and I don't really know which one we're doing. Well, we're gonna find out today, Demolitia. And I'm excited to see stucco. I've never seen stucco go up. Oh my gosh, I didn't show you guys the view. Look at the view. God, just a beautiful, beautiful morning out in Texas. I love it. Oh, we should work on this house. This truck just arrived full of scaffolding, a bunch of pipes, and a bunch of boards. We haven't really used a ton of scaffolding on this house yet. We use that thing to get up high. We built scaffolding in a few places where like that thing couldn't get to, but we have this nice little box on there. So if we just need to get around these, we just throw that thing up in the air. But with the stucco, they're gonna be doing big areas at a time, so that wouldn't make sense. So they're gonna have to build scaffolding all over all the spots where they're gonna need to be stuccoing. And that's why they have a whole truck full of scaffolding. Check out this. So we got first floor down there, second floor, third floor, fourth floor, fifth floor. 5 levels there. So this entire wall is going to be stuccoed. This over here also going to be stuccoed. You can see they already put up the paper. The reason they're doing this first before all this is because you have to stand on the roof to get this done. And not only if we had a roof here, they'd be messing up with scaffolding and everything, but they'd also be dropping all of the cement on it and that kind of stuff. So you want to do all the stuff where you would have to stand on a roof first so they can start our roof. Once this is done, they can start the roof. So that'll be very nice. Let me show you what we got though. We have this paper. This is a waterproof barrier, which that green stuff is also a waterproof barrier, but they always put another one on there anyway. Extra waterproof, always good. So this is the first layer with this paper and this metal mesh. This is like kind of like chicken wire, but it sticks up off the paper a little bit so that it will grab the cement layer. This is called lath, L-A-T-H, I think. So this lath, this metal chicken wire, will eventually go over the whole thing. They started on the edges first, getting it all fixed up. I actually don't know what this is for. I don't know why they have like the runners coming down on both sides of the windows. Not sure. But that will eventually get covered with metal, and we're doing a 3-layer stucco system. So the first layer is the paper and the lath, and then I'm not sure on the next 2 layers because I've seen it both ways where the first layer also includes the first layer of cement that goes on there. But then I've also heard that just the paper and the lath is the first layer, and the second layer is what they call the brown layer, where it's just thick cement, like 3/4 inch cement going on the wall. And then there's another layer, and then there's a finishing layer, and they count them different. Some people don't count the finishing layer as a layer because whether you're doing it for a 1 layer or a 3 layer, they all need a finishing layer, so they don't count that. It doesn't matter. We're getting stucco put on the house. So far, that's done, that's done, that's done. All parts that have roofs underneath them. Around the back of the house now, that's done, that's done. And they have not got to this yet, but soon. But some other stuff that's been accomplished is these cinder blocks. Those cinder blocks, we piled all here. The reason for this was because on the original house, the dirt level was this low. You can see that level, all this dirt right here that drops off, that's all dirt we brought in. The dirt level was this low, and they had rocked it. They had put stone all the way up to the top. It's like a 30-foot tall wall right there, but there's like a 9-foot drop off of all the porches around the back side, which is nice if you like the view, which we do, but it still is a nice view even if the dirt's higher and we want to be able to like get off our porches easily. So we're gonna bring all this dirt, push it all up eventually once we're done here. But you have to have your stone sitting on a brick lug. And so we're gonna have this all stoned, and except for that, that's gonna be stucco. But this is all gonna be stoned, but the brick lug is way down there, the part where all the stone sits on. So we had to pile it all up. You can't have the stone just sitting on the dirt because the dirt will eventually sink and then your wall will fall down. So you need something solid. So you can see down there we have our concrete brick lug that sticks out from the slab. So we piled cheap cinder blocks all the way up it so we can put our expensive rock on top of it, because all of this will be buried under the ground, not visible. So why put our nice rock down there? You're probably like, I don't care about cinder blocks. You know what else we did though? Check out that chimney. We actually got a fireplace installed in that room. Check this out. So this is in our den, our family room, our TV room. And if you'll remember, there was a little kind of Adobe style fireplace in this corner, and it went up through the roof right there, but it had a huge crack in it. And it was a totally solid rock fireplace, had a big crack. So we were left with the choice of, do we fix it or take it out? We could have fixed it, but it would have been pretty expensive to fix it, and it wasn't our style, so we're like, we're gonna spend money on it. Let's spend the money on something that we like better. So we put, and we also didn't like that it was in the corner over there, so we put a fireplace in right here, so you can see this big box we built for it. So this will all be obviously covered up, and this will be all that you see right here. I have a little mantle above it, and our TV will go right there, so our couches can be all around here. We can sit as a family, watch our TV up there with a fire going, a nice small fire. This isn't gonna be a roaring fire or anything, but we have a brand new fireplace. That's pretty sweet. And once we get all the scaffolding done and all the rest of the stuff ready for stucco, they'll start applying it. We have all of this stuff ready to go. Here's that wire up close. You can see how it's bent right there to make it all stand up off this side of the house. That allows the cement to get on both sides of this thing, so it has structure. That's the whole point of this, is to give it some structure so that you can't hit stucco with a hammer and it all just crumbles and falls off your wall. This will hold it all together, which is held onto the wall. It's kind of cool. That also is what made it super hard to get all the stucco off the house originally. Like, it was so much work to hammer and pry because this wanted to come off in huge sheets that were stuck to the wall instead of just hitting it with a hammer and it crumbling. It was like we were pulling down like 100-pound things at a time. Big pain in the butt. Kind of cool to see all their trim work though. All that metal was all put up by the stucco guys in all of the corners here, getting all the trim ready. And this obviously still needs to have the metal mesh put up over here. That's great. Looking good. So this wall is almost ready for the actual cement process. They haven't started anywhere yet. They're still doing all the prep, getting all the paper and all the chicken wire mesh up and the trim. And then they start the next process, which is actually putting the mixture together, putting the first coat down on this wall. I gotta go up there. Okay, we did it. This is actually bringing back flashbacks for when we first bought this house, because they had left the scaffolding on this roof, which we redid this whole roof, so it's not the same roof anymore, but it's where the roof was. I'm out of breath. We're climbing. They had built up everything. They had built the scaffolding on top of this roof, and then they were doing the stucco, and it was, the cement was all up, but they hadn't finished it. They hadn't done the final layer. And so there was stucco on the house. It wasn't finished. They still had the scaffolding up, and then they abandoned the project for 15 years. It's weird seeing this. And like, there's always been like a fear in the pit of my stomach that I'm gonna get to that point that they did, and then something will happen that I'll abandon it. Like, maybe this house is cursed, maybe this land is cursed, and that's why they abandoned it 15 years ago. And I'm gonna get to that point again, where we've invested so much time and energy into this, and then something's gonna happen where I say, I can't finish it. I can't finish it. But he didn't have the power of the demolition. So I think we got this. God, it's looking good. So good. Okay, a little more wire work, and then the cement starts. That's so cool. This was at one point a clean machine, a brand new clean machine. Not anymore. I don't know why this is so intriguing to me. I can stare at this all day. So it is a new day today, and what has been accomplished since you saw last is just more setup. You can see this red around the windows. That's the tape holding on the plastic, so they're protecting those windows from getting any of the cement on them. And they've gone around the whole house doing first the black plastic, then the wire, and all the edges have the special metal trim, and then now they have gone and sealed up all of the glass. So this house is ready for actual stucco to go on now. See more here, all the detail work, just covering up all the pipes, anything that's coming out of the house that they don't want to be caked in cement, they cover up. A lot more prep work than I ever imagined stucco would be. I just thought you'd like staple some wire up and then you just go to town. But obviously better you spend the time to make it right before you actually start and have cement covering everything. So they're starting the stucco on the back upstairs. They're shoveling it from the porch up the scaffold up to the roof. This is going to take forever. Dang. The end of the day, so nice up here. Okay, so this is the first layer of the actual cement process. So this is called the scratch coat. You can see it's super rough. The scratch coat is made of cement and sand mixed together. So you saw we had those bags of cement and the giant piles of sand. They mix it in that big mixer and then they put it on super rough like this. You can see the wire down underneath. So that wire helps give it all structure, hold it all up against the wall, and then it's really rough, so the next layer will stick to it and hold against that. This looks good. So after the scratch coat, the next coat is the brown coat, which is gonna be, in our case, the same cement and sand mixture, but it's gonna be much smoother, helps to thicken it out, and it'll be much smoother so that the next coat, the finishing coat, where you put like your texture on there, that's the third coat in this system, and so that is where you like make it look nice on whatever texture you want, but that'll be a different material. So the first two layers, the scratch coat and brown coat, are gonna be the same. I'm learning all this as I go as well. This is not something I've known anything about before today, but pretty cool. It actually went pretty fast. Like when you think about it, they have to hand trowel every piece of stucco onto this house. They got a lot done today, and it was very interesting to watch them just ladder it up with shovels all the way to the top. As you can see, they did all of this. It's over the roof here. That part is not over any roof, so they didn't do that. They wanted to hurry up and finish this so we can hurry up and start this, because as you can see, stucco is a very, very messy process. All around the edges is just covered in cement now, which will all come away pretty easily. Plus they got plastic right up next to it, but this will all brush away, but it would just be terrible if it was all over your roof. It was going to be seen all the time. This section has the brown layer on it, so you can see that it is much smoother, not all roughed up like that first layer. Still not nice though, not the finish you'd want. Plus this is wet, this was just put on. So they're gonna actually come by and they'll, as it dries, make it a little smoother, a little better, but they got it all up there much smoother than before. You can see they're also doing little things like ledges underneath the windows and above the windows. You can see that all getting bumped out, slowly starting to take shape and turn into similar to what the wall will look like when we're all done. One other big change that's happened recently is we actually have our first bit of sheetrock up. But we're not about to start actually sheetrocking the whole house. This is just in the garage. Is the only place we are gonna do it right now, and it's because we need to insulate this place, and we're gonna be doing spray foam insulation. So spray foam, as you saw on the demo HQ build, they just spray it in between all of the studs. So it's gonna be totally closing in there, but the garage is not gonna be a conditioned space, so we need to actually insulate these interior walls. So the wall in between the conditioned space and the garage will need to be insulated, so we need something that we can spray the foam onto. So we just put the sheetrock up on the inside of the garage so we have something to spray the spray foam on, but we'll come back and sheetrock the rest of it later. We're not actually really starting sheetrock now just the garage at this point. But it does seem super weird to see rooms starting to take shape in here, starting to close in and kind of get an idea of what this room will look like when it's all said and done. This is my office right here, and you can kind of see where it is now. It's not all studs. It's still a lot of studs. Stud, 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 stud. That's my dad's favorite joke. So this guy's applying the second layer right there. You can see him just cover up that scratch coat with the brown coat. So that is how it goes on. They try to get it fairly smooth, and then when it dries a little bit, they come back and smooth it out even more. But he just completely covered up that original dry scratch coat with the second layer. Before we go any further, I want to say thanks to the sponsor of this episode, HelloFresh. Even with everything going on in the world right now, everybody's still got to eat, and HelloFresh is here to make that easier and better. We've been using HelloFresh for about 3 years now. It's super nice to have a ready-to-cook meal show up on your doorstep. It's too easy. With HelloFresh, produce gets to you faster than a grocery store, so it arrives at peak freshness and flavor. Today we're gonna have pork flautas supreme. Also look out for many more quick and easy meals from HelloFresh, like oven-ready and 10 to 20 minute meals. It makes it perfect for cooking to fit more into your New Year's resolutions. HelloFresh's pre-portioned ingredients means there's less prep for you and less wasted food. This is a small box size, but they do have large box sizes, which makes feeding the whole family even easier with more servings and more savings. HelloFresh donated over 2.5 million meals to charity last year and is stepping up their efforts this year amid the ongoing health crisis. Go to HelloFresh.com and enter my code 10OFFTheRanch to get 10 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com. Use my code 10OFFTheRanch and you get 10 free meals plus free shipping. All linked in the description below. Thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring this episode of The Abandoned Mansion. Now let me show you what we got done. As you can see, it's snowing here. Hello, Meredith.
Hi. This is an interesting surprise to come here.
Yeah, look at this. Snow is actually sticking on the ground. The roof's totally covered in snow. Very weird. Check out the view. Oh wait, you can't see anything. All right, I'm gonna climb up there and show you guys the stucco. They finished the texture layer on all the parts that are above the roof, so we can actually start putting roof on, assuming the weather gets a little bit better. Don't fall on the slippery roof. This is a good example of the 3 layers. So you can see over there, that's the scratch coat. That's the first layer. Here has the brown coat, the second layer. And then over here, it has the textured layer. So you can see it's all nice and textured. That's what the stucco looks like when it's done. It needs to be painted, another coat over it, but it is fairly close to being finished on this part. Still need to texture just a little bit on this wall as well, because it is over the roof. I'm not sure if we're actually gonna get that done yet. I'm in like this breezeway right now, and snow is blasting me in the face. It's cold in Texas, guys. For once I can say it's cold, and you can believe me because it's actually blowing snow on us. Hello, what you guys up to?
How did you get up there?
I climbed the scaffolding to get up here. My hands are freezing. Are y'all warm enough?
Yeah.
Good. We also had to rebuild the stairs because they were they were just different sizes at the top because we put a new layer up there. So we had to redo the whole thing, which is kind of interesting to me because I didn't know. If the stairs are not all the same height, you will be walking up and your brain tells you they're all the same, and you'll kick one and trip and fall over if it's a different height. Because once you start walking upstairs, you don't really look at every step anymore. Your brain just tells you they're all the same. It's a hazard. So we had to redo the entire staircase to make it all fit. Merrick, get this fireplace going. It's freezing in here. Wow. I really wanted to see the view of everything that's snowy, but it's still snowing and we're in a big snow cloud right now. More stucco done over here, slowly working their way all around the house, and they're actually making pretty good headway with it. So cool. I really wish these clouds would move on so I could like look out and see the snow, because you can see it's kind of starting to stick to trees a little bit, definitely sticking to the ground now. And it's actually a super rare occurrence that something like this happens. And so I want to see it when I can see it, because the snow will not be on the ground tomorrow morning unless it keeps snowing all night, but I don't think it's going to. This will all be melted by tomorrow. Yay, Texas. I can't remember if I've showed you guys all of this kind of stuff, but all of our low voltage wires are run. That's for speakers and home entertainment stuff and some other stuff like that. That is all done in the house. And all of our big wires are run as well. This is where they come into the house. and head that way to the boxes. And see, we also have drain pipes running. Our AC duct is done. There's some AC stuff as well going up through the walls. It'll go upstairs to the unit up there. All of the little details that you never really think about in a home. You think about putting up the walls and not about like all the plumbing, all the electric, all the low voltage, all the AC stuff, the ducting. You have to think about all that stuff in the planning process, which is something that I found pretty neat to kind of learn how it is all put together. And there's a certain order for everything to go in. You can't just like say, yeah, we're gonna do walls today, because that doesn't necessarily make sense, because sometimes there's things you need to do before walls, and sometimes there's things you need to do before the roof goes on. Like, I didn't know you had to get the stucco on before the roof. You don't have to, but it's way better if you get the stucco on before the roof, and then you put the roof on before the insulation, because this house, even though it has paper on the roof that is waterproof, there's some holes in it, things like that, and as you can see, we still leak a little bit. So if we had done insulation or sheetrock, besides this sheetrock that we had to do, it would get wet. Because if we already had our walls closed in, it's getting wet, you're gonna start getting mold. We did this, like I said, just to spray the inside of it with insulation. So soon, roof, insulation, foam insulation, and then this place will really start coming together. We also gotta get garage doors installed here, so we don't just have a big open wall. I also want to say thank you to you guys for continuously coming back to watch the Abandoned Mansion episodes. I know it's been over a month since I've given you an Abandoned Mansion episode, and it's because I want to save up to where there's enough stuff happening that it's worth watching. I don't want to make a video that's like, today we did the stucco on this one 10-foot wall. I don't think that's that exciting. So I want to be able to look back and say, oh yeah, that episode, that was the stucco episode, and it's awesome. A bunch of stuff got done. I want it to be momentous occasions that I make these videos about. I want it to be milestones so that when I look back, I remember that was when all the stucco got done. And I want it to be worth your time to watch it. I want you guys to know that each Abandoned Mansion episode, a bunch happens, and it's worth clicking on to check out. I want you guys to have fun and see this and be excited about it like we are. I think this house is awesome. It's this big, abandoned, awesome house on the top of a big hilltop with a view. And I think it's awesome. And I want the videos to reflect that. So that's why I save up so that we can get the awesome videos to reflect how cool and awesome this house is. Take a shot every time I say awesome. We're gonna end this video here. Stucco is almost done, and the next video, we're gonna be putting a roof on this house. I hope to see you there. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Renovation Ranch. We love you, and we'll see you next time.